Hello. This video covers running analyses with the HPC Analyzer. And in the directory where you installed the Hydroplant Performance Calculator, you'll find two workbooks. One's called the HPC Analyzer and the other one's called the Plant Builder. So the Analyzer is the workbook and the program we use to run sets of analyses. So I'm going to open that workbook by double-clicking it. And this is the first, then I come to the worksheets in the workbook basically. And it consists of many worksheets. So there's a flow analysis worksheet, an op-if and scheduling analysis worksheet, summarize flow data, summarize efficiency data, and summarize op-if data. And these 5 worksheets correspond to DataWolff analyses that this workbook runs. I'm going to focus on running the op-if and schedule analysis today. And so to run an analysis, we first specify an analysis name, and a folder is created with that analysis name. Since I'm going to be running a 2-unit analysis, we're going to call this 2-unit analysis. And then there's an analysis root directory, and to specify the root directory, I simply double-click on that file, and I can navigate to where I want to place that analysis. So I'm going to place this in a new folder, and I'm going to call it Analyses, where I would place all my analyses for the HPC. Then I double-click on that, and I hit save, and it then specifies that as the root directory. And then then I need to specify the case files. The case files are really the plant workbooks or the cases I run these analyses with. And so I can specify the case that I want to run by double-clicking on this cell. And then I navigate to the plant model I want to use for this case. And I go to the Hydroplant Performance Calculator. I'm going to go to the plant models, and I'm going to use the 2-unit demo which we set up in a previous video. And so if you'll recall, it was a 2-unit plant.xls is the plant workbook, and I need to point to that. And so now it specifies that as the case, and then I'm going to go to the load the data file. And for that, I'm going to load it. It's a 2-unit monthly file. We're going to run January 2004. And this data file that I load needs to be consistent with the file configuration that we did for this plant model. And if that's confusing for you, you need to review the video about HPC, the overview of the HPC Plant Builder. So once I have the data file set up, the case files, and all these fields set up, I can run this case by simply clicking Compute this analysis set. And so it first does a series of checking to make sure that the files and everything exists. And then once the check goes, there's a console application that's triggered, and it runs the analysis. So it shows which analysis set we're running. It shows there's one analysis set because we're only running one op-if and scheduling analysis. We're running one analysis, and these are the different steps it's going through. Okay, I paused the video briefly because it takes a few seconds to run an analysis, but now we're back, and now it's computing the scheduling analysis, and this will take just a few more seconds to run. And when it's finished, this console application and this dialog box will disappear, this pop-up window. So now the application's done. And it doesn't, the workbooks are not loaded into Excel because this is set up to run many analyses, and you're only limited by the space of Excel, and the size of your hard drive. So you could run many analyses with this approach, but we only ran one here. So I'm going to open the results of that analysis. I click open, and in the analyses 2-unit analysis, what it did was it ran an op-if analysis, a scheduling analysis, and then it created sub-workbooks for each of those analyses. So I'm going to focus on just the operational efficiency analysis just to show you the results. And there's a summary worksheet which shows the different hydro performance indicators versus and so these are the cases. So it shows basically the lost energy opportunity, the lost revenue opportunity, and the water conservation opportunity. I'm not going to go into the the details of this workbook at this point. I just wanted to show you how to run this analysis at this point. There's a workbook that shows the annual results, and then if we can go to the next level down, which is a 2-unit analysis, op-if analysis, and this is for the case and the different units that are associated with this case. And so we can drill down and find out the details of this analysis. So those are the workbooks created. There's also a scheduling analysis workbook that also shows the benefits of optimized scheduling, and that's here, and it's in a similar format to the operational efficiency workbook. So that's how you would run an operational efficiency analysis with DataWolff. If you wanted to run a flow analysis with the Hydro Performance Calculator. So if you wanted to run a flow analysis, and you wanted to run it against the same plant model and the same data files, you can simply copy this here and paste it here, and that would then run the flow analysis for you, which is a different analysis. Another option, and then if you wanted to run both the flow analysis and the scheduling and operational efficiency analysis, you can click here, and then it would compute all the analysis sets that are set up. So it would compute each one of these that had files associated with it. It would then run. So it's a very streamlined way to run lots of data. Another option for setting up an analysis is you want to run it against multiple cases and multiple data files. So for that case, you would not actually specify the file here. What you would do is you'd specify a worksheet. So I'm going to call this worksheet 2-unit data, 2-unit cases, and I'm going to specify multiple files here by specifying 2-unit data. And it just so happens I have worksheets in this workbook because I set this up beforehand of 2-unit data and 2-unit cases. And if this corresponds to a worksheet name, I can double click on this, and then it navigates to that specific data sheet. So now that it navigates to a data sheet, now I can specify many cases here. And so again, I would double click here, and I can navigate to the plant models directory, the 2-unit demo, and I could specify that case. And then I could also run it against multiple cases. So if I double click here, I would go back to the Hydro Plant Performance Calculator, the plant models, and perhaps I want to compare it to a Unit 1 upgrade. So that would be another case here. So that would run it for multiple cases. So then I can go back to the operational efficiency and scheduling analysis worksheet. There's the 2-unit cases, and now I can click here to get the 2-unit data, and I can specify multiple data files here. So I can run it against, it's set up for January now. I could set it up for February, and I can specify multiple files by selecting them all and hit open. So back to the demo data files, and then there's March, and so on and so forth. But that would be how to set it up for multiple files. And so I go back to since I navigated here by a double click, I can return with a double click up here. And now this would be set up to run this same analysis for multiple cases and multiple years. And I'm not going to actually run that analysis now. I'll go over the details of how these are structured in another video. So that provides a simple overview of how to use the HPC Analyzer and the plant models and the data to do a series of analyses. So if you need more help, or if you have questions, I can be contacted at pjwolff at wolffwareltd.com. I can also be contacted through my website, which is DataWolff.com. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope it helps.